Hello YouTube, iFixItAll here, Team iFixItAll. We got ourselves a F-150 4.6 liter Triton V8 2001. What I'm told is the number 5 cylinder here on the driver's side, first one, spark plug hole is stripped out, and so I've got to get the coil pack off and the spark plug out, which shouldn't be too hard. So I got to pull back some of this air cleaner stuff and lay this power steering reservoir to the side. So let me get set up here and let's start doing some basic clearing the path to get to that coil pack. Hang tight. I think the first thing I want to do is get that cover off of here so I can get this air cleaner part out of the way, which we don't have an air cleaner installed. Hang tight. Of course, things like this can't be good for the mass airflow sensor. So we shall see. Let's get that plastic cover off of here. Three bolts, 10 millimeter, it looks like. So I got the bolts out, and I got to thinking, I'm going to modify this and slot it. Slot it. There's no reason to not have it slotted. Let me get on that. This ain't my truck. So I'm going to modify it. There we go. You'll never know. Life is good. Had to notch this out a little bit more so it just worked out a little better. There. Life is good. What that does is allows me to leave these screws installed. All you gotta do is back all three off from now on. Got me a little microphone action going on here because forgot to put it on before. How is this attached? I really want it out of the way. Okay, we got two fittings here, and we have a clamp. This doesn't look like it's going to complain too bad if I pull like that. So, and that lower one looks like it unplugs easily. Top one unplugs real easy. I got two vacuum hoses here, or yeah, we'll call it vacuum hoses. I got a hose clamp back here, and I've got a device plugged in right here, which I bet could be the mass airflow sensor right there. Certainly makes sense. Although that looks like the metering device right deep in there. That looks like the mass airflow. Because that's where the resistor would be that thermally... Oh, well, yeah, this must be the mass airflow sensor. I'm not sure what that is. We'll just get the things unplugged and keep moving forward. Got a couple things unplugged here. This and this. I can pull this off of here and get it out of the way. I got some mass airflow sensor cleaner. So let me get my next angle of attack here. Let's see. Got that down here. Alrighty, hang tight because I'm going to be focusing on this next. Well, I kind of didn't know I was running without a coil pack or a spark plug. I don't know if you guys can see down in there, but there's an empty Holby. There's other coil packs back through there, right in line. Yeah, there's an empty hole there. Lacks some power, eh? The power steering reservoir has a metal bracket right here. Comes over to a small bolt right on the upper radiator hose. And it traverses over and catches a couple of small bolts holding down the reservoir. I think I'm going to take all three out because directly underneath me is where I need to be working. Maybe I just got to take these two out, or trying to deal with the less rusty bolts, the least rusty hardware. Yeah, I just may clearance this whole thing out here. Give these bolts an exercise and put some grease on them or some oil so that when they get reassembled, at least they'll be corrosion controlled. Let's see how bad it really is. Hop up on top of this nose of the truck here. Uh-oh. That does not feel good. Bare minimum, we got to get this one off. Okay. I hope the hell that's coming out. It's just not free spinning. Yeah, that's coming out. It's a big old bracket that manages what else? So this is probably the only bolt that holds it down on this metal bracket. And it's good and rusty. Oh my goodness. No. Head stripped. Fraggle Rock. So we got fasteners that why do I have two rows of bolts here? I hope that comes loose. Oops, sorry guys. I'm gonna have to spray these threads. These bolts are exposed as they pass through the bottom. I'm gonna put a little bit of cutting oil on them. Hang tight. Only thing I could roust up was a little bit of PB Blaster. All right. I'm gonna aim. See if I get lucky. And aim again. Under. Okay. Make sure to get that all over you. It's important. You have to get this stuff on you. Otherwise, you ain't working. Okay. Got a little bit of that going. Just trying to add lube to those threads as they come up, because that's the only thing I can do. Got some corrosion going on here. If they snap off, well, I think I know what this customer would want to do. So we won't talk about that. We will just fix it better than the factory. Because God knows that damn power steering pump reservoir doesn't need to be directly over top of the valve cover. Sounds like something else that's a good candidate for a modification. I can keep on hitting you guys all I want, can't I? Alright, so our little lubrication to the threads worked. Ah, goodness. Got that bolt out. It's nasty. But it is what it is. I didn't lubricate that bottom bolt. Alright. Let's get a little bit of PB on the bottom of this one. Maybe I'll get lucky and make use of some down in there too. So this one's moving. Let's cross our fingers on this one. That bolt's stripped out. That's why I moved up here. Because my intentions are to get these 3 out. This one and these 2. And leave the reservoir here. Get down here deeper on this bracket. I'm just asking for trouble. Alright. Screw it. That's what's got to happen. These bolts seem to be cooperating. Next step would have been to add some heat. You don't want to add heat to these because they're holding down a plastic reservoir, so you'll end up melting it. So that's kind of dark. Let me get this bolt out right here. I didn't add any blastification to that. Soak in there. right. Got that guy out. All right, I got some figuring to do here. Something's going on. I may have to move this. What is green? That's like your EVP or EGR system. Green, because red is source, and green is probably EGR. Yeah, there's an EGR valve. This must be the EVP solenoid. I'm going on 1987 technology though. This is a 2001, but I can recognize Ford's pattern. Oh, 19-pound injectors, orange tops. If I'm incorrect, let me know, people. It appears like I should have left these two bolts in and removed these two here. And they are probably candidates for, they're not as grungy as those lower ones. Let's see if I break loose. All right, so that one feels like it's going to cooperate. And that one feels like it might cooperate. Yeah. So what I'll do is I will reinstall this guy right here. Reduce the chances of lost hardware. And zip them back down. There you go. I could get my drill. What's going on here? Okay, that's tight. Here we go. I thought it was stripped out. Okay. And bust these out. Yeah, that feels like they're coming out. I won't make you guys watch that. Okay, 3 bolts are out. Get that out of the way. Huh. It sure looks like this damn EVP sensor needs to be out of the way. So I gotta go down in there and drill. Drill out the sparkum plug'em hole. What's going on here? He's missing it. Where's the fuel injector? I'm kind of confused. I gotta get a light on this. He handed it to me with stuff already started. I gotta figure out what he or someone has done already. Okay, so it goes coil pack, injector. So, what am I looking at here? this connector here has to be, I think it's coil pack injector, coil pack injector, coil pack injector, coil pack, and I can't see it back there, but I bet there's an injector. So where's my fuel injector? Let me see. RJ, I'm confused. Let me go back here with a light. Let's see what I can see. Got my big old antique bulky ass light stuck. I better be using a flashlight. This is just nuts, the way I'm doing it. Alright, injector, coil pack. Injector, coil pack. Injector, coil pack. Injector, okay, coil pack. Okay, so that's what's missing. Is just the coil pack and the associated coil pack connector right here. Alrighty. Hang tight. I'm working on this power steering pump here. So I bet I can just bend that out of the way a little bit on its bracket. Yeah. That'll clear me out enough. But as far as straight down, I've got to take out this EVP business here. This bracket. Yeah, that'll take some staring at. I don't want to have you watching this mess, but I could put my hardware back where it goes. That way it does not get lost. And I could theoretically just put this bracket right back down here. That way it doesn't get lost. Yeah, right now I don't have any parts outside of the truck. Everything's still in the truck. Good method of procedure for anybody to follow if you can figure out a way to do your parts like that. I'm definitely going to have to clearance myself from things that are in the way because I got a wire harness directly over top of this hole. Right, and I've got these vacuum lines, but these connectors here need to go. How do you unplug? Yeah, Ford's been experimenting with different ways to make connectors plug in that you don't know which one you've got, what style. Get this out of the way. There we go. Okay, so this clearances me out of the way for this group. I'll tuck that way over here. And what are you? You're going to the EVP. And I'll get this EVP sensor bracket out of the way because it looks easy peasy. Yep, that looks real easy. 2 bolts. Of course, it's not the same socket. Here we go. These should break loose easily. Oh, that was like, has someone been in here? Wow. What was that? Like inch-pounds torque? You kidding? Huh. Okay, there's that. Here's that. And without disconnecting anything, I think I can clearance myself backwards a little bit and get it out of the way. tuck it back away from all the action. Maybe I can even do one of these numbers. Oops. Which way was that? I don't think it matters right now, does it? I think it was like this. There we go. I've got a nice trajectory right there. I can clearance this vacuum line back out of the way so I can do my thing. I'll never find that line now. Okay. So, here we are, race fans. What did another good habit. I can put the bolts back in the intake whence they came. Don't lose any hardware. Do this whenever you can. Might be extra time, but it's peace of mind as well. Alright, so I can get the ratchet off of here. So far I've only used an 8 and a 10 millimeter. I've had a 8 millimeter socket, 10 millimeter socket, and a 10 millimeter wrench to get this far. And a flathead to remove the air cleaner. And that's it. A little picking tool if you need to undo connectors. A little flat screwdriver, flat blade. Alright, so let's get you guys to take a look here. Let's see what we can do. So here's my bracket. I just got it laying over here out of the way. And there is the hole to the spark plug and its associated fuel injector right there, which is unplugged. And where's your connector at? What'd you do, RJ? Let's see. Why is this loose? That coil pack's loose as hell. Okay. I don't know why. Okay, so this must be the fuel injector right here. It's a big wide gray connector. Big wide gray connector. Then, and this connector here must be the coil pack. So the fuel injector is unplugged at the moment, which should be a smart move if you're doing this job. Why is this one loose? This coil pack is way wobbly loose. And that's cylinder number 6. Alright guys, I've taken this about as far as I can go until the parts come in tomorrow. And that'll be that. Alright, there'll be a part 2. See ya. Bye. Alright, so it is the next day. Got a kit here that the customer supplied. OMT is the brand. Orion Motor Tech. Spark plug threaded. Spark plug thread repair kit for Ford. Comes with the thingamajig to make sure you have both valves closed. When you rotate your cylinder down, you want to make sure both valves are closed. It's got the drill bit. It's got that. Your tap, your drill bit, your inserts. The problem I've got with this is these guys here this looks just like the Calvan kit, and I noticed in their instruction manual they are literally using a screenshot right here directly off of a YouTuber whose name is Javo's Garage. That's Juliet Alpha Victor Oscar apostrophe Sierra, Javo's Garage. Anyway, I don't know if this is a Chinese knockoff or what it is. Here's your guide. That drops in. We'll be demonstrating that in a little bit. The method of procedure here is that once you drill out and then you tap and then you vacuum suck out your debris from the top of your piston, you're supposed to glue this in place with this red Loctite, and you install by adding your spark plug directly to it. Tighten, and of course the specs on the spark plugs are like 7 to 14 foot-pounds, or I gotta check that. 7 to 14, I think, foot-pounds, yeah. And that would constitute a tightened spark plug. What I'm planning on doing is doing a 2-part JB Weld high temp right here. And I'm going to be torquing down my spark plug, which is coated with anti-seize. Yeah, that's always nice. Right there, Permatex anti-seize. What my hierarchy here is, what's going on is, if I add the JB Weld to the threads of this, and then I add anti-seize to my spark plug, and then I tighten my spark plug down to 7 to 14 foot-pounds, it'll apply all that effort on the fitting and the plug, and when the adapter fitting dries by way of the JB Weld, then the anti-seize that's on my spark plug will require less torque to loosen, therefore not removing the adapter. So I'm adding JB Weld to the insert. I'm installing with my spark plug that's liberally coated with anti-seize, tightening it up to 14 foot-pounds, and hook up the coil pack and plug in the injector, fire it up and test. Things will dry out, but when a man goes to remove his plugs again, the spark plug should snap loose easily and not the insert. Okay? So let's get started again. I'm going to be dropping a screwdriver down the hole here and feeling for my piston. It looks like we're pretty darn deep now as it is. So there's the ledge. I can feel the sidewall. And there's a ledge. And then it tapers inboard, and you gotta go down. And I'm plenty deep enough right there. I thought I had to turn the crankshaft, but I got lucky. So that's fine. They recommend you have both valves closed, and I don't think I'm going to pay attention to that because the debris I'm going to let gravity do the work. Number two, they have supplied me with cutting oil. Right here, they call it Magic EP Extra Cutting Oil. I don't think I want to use it because it's going to make the shavings sticky and harder to remove. My plan here is to adapt. This is a pretty long screwdriver too. This thing is like 12 or 14 inches long. It's a KC Pro, made in USA. .3/16, number 97221, just in case you want to double check the length. I don't want to use cutting oil because I'm afraid that it's going to make it difficult to shop vac out. So I'm going to adapt my shop vac down to a really small diameter, something that'll fit down inside the spark plug hole so that I could poke around and shop vac out. And I do have a borescope. It's a USB type borescope right here on. It's got the camera on the end. Sorry, but if you guys know this truck, I'm sitting right on the nose. It's got a camera on the end, and I can go down inside the cylinder, and this is like 30 foot long, so I can hook it up to my laptop over there and visually inspect and check things out. So that'll be good. Let me get set up with the adapter here. Right here is the adapter, and it's shaped in such a way to where it dresses utilizing the edge of the valve cover mating surface, and it drops in. So we're going to drop that in now. And it was recommended, since there's a little bit of weebly wobbly, side to side play, or rotisserie play, I should say. And I think that's as far as it goes in. Yep. It's like it needs a shim. But I don't know. I just don't think it does. It needs a shim on the back side between the valve cover. Yeah, that's quite a distance there. I may shim it with a piece of paint stick. Hang on. Okay, let me get this little piece of paint stick in between the edge of the valve cover and there. See if I can get it started by hand. A little crooked there. Yeah, I know I got my paw in your way, people. Setup time is crucial. There we go. Oh, I got no swing. That's ridiculous. Ah. Yeah, I'm getting something there. I can just swing at it. Let me get a tool to tap that in. Yeah, got a little punch here. just to keep it steady Eddie. Take up any slack. It's time to move on to selecting my tools, get my drill ready, and start popping a hole. Now they provide us with 11/16 drill bit, and it has a pin at the top as a secondary backup for if you drop it falls in, it can't go anywhere. But there is a E-ring or a C-clip that you snap on in the rib, which calibrates the actual depth you are going to go. So it just barely punches through, just to protect, to maintain the integrity that, well, just in case you didn't get your piston dialed down as far as it would go, this is the calibrated depth that you need to go from where that clip is to there. So I'm going to put this clip on and get my drill in the game. All right, my clip is on. And get the drill. All right, so what I found best on my cordless drill was to, am I zoomed in? Hang on. Of course I am. Okay, so what I found here was a 1/2 inch adapter, 1/2 inch socket, plugs directly onto this 11/16 drill bit perfectly. So it is a standard. So here we go. Let's start drilling. Make sure I'm going the right direction. Find out if I want to be on 1 or 2. That's too fast. That's nice and easy. So I'm going to feel around down there, and that piece of wood is in my way for my C-clip. Dang it. It's blocking me. And I need to spin this thing around. Ah, dang it. Let me pull that block of wood out and I'll just wing it. Okay, let's verify that the C-clip doesn't bump into the flange of the valve cover. Looks like that should clearance nicely. Hopefully. Let's go ahead and, I'm not using cutting oil. I'm just not doing it. It's going to make things too sticky, as the wife said. Ooh. And turn up the torque. We're cutting now. We're in it now. So I'm on 21 or 22, something like that for this Craftsman cordless. What the holy hell? So here we are. I can't be all the way through by now. That was too quick. I'm taking that C-clip off. There's no way in the world I'm down already. Bye-bye, C-clip. I've got that roll pin that's going to be my secondary backup. Get the JOB done. Remember of that roll pin that's in there. That'll be my backup to make sure the bit doesn't go down into the cylinder and get lost. Let's see if there's more drilling to do. Yep. Okay, more torquey. It says I'm through. I hope so. All right, see if there's any dust witness marks. Let me get a light and shine it down in there. Hang on. All right. Got it back in. Where it's at. By the way, on the drill bit itself, they shouldn't need to machine this thing with all the contours that long. They should only need to machine it out to be like 1 inch up and stop all this fancy cut work. It would make the cost of this thing come way down. It is sort of a special application drill bit. Of course, I'm talking without the microphone. Damn it. All right, so I peeked down in the hole. Everything looks like it made it to proper depth. And I was commenting on the drill bit itself. Doesn't look like it needs to be machined out. If it was manufactured where all these fancy lathe work and twist bit work was done, where it stops right where my pinky is. Because you don't need it to be all the way up the length of this drill bit. But like I said, what do I know? All right, let me get my head around what I got to do next. Hang tight. Alrighty, so the tap itself has a keyway, a notch provision for the snap ring in 2 spots. I'm going to be putting my snap ring on this spot right here, I believe, and see how that does. And then I think I can relocate it up to here. Let me think about this. There's the length. If I go through, then I still have threads hanging on, so I'm through. No, I think I'll put it right here on this top slot. Alrighty. C-clip on the upper rib. And okay, you have to assemble. Okay, I gotta back out. You have to take the C-clip off, put the adapter on, put the C-clip on, and you'll need an extension on your ratchet. Same 1/2 inch socket to drive the tap. Okay, that's more like it. Drop this adapter on, spot it, make sure it's positioned correct. Feels like there's a good 1.25 inch worth of room there, but I bet we're only tapping like 3/4 of an inch, so it should punch through pretty quickly. So I'm going to turn. Try to get it started. And I like to give a little tappity tap tap. Yeah, we're going in. Let me tap on this a little bit better. I'm going to be ripping out the top entry point and making it bare. Back off a little bit. Go back to cutting. Back off to clear the cutting teeth, and that'll displace the debris into the long vertical channels and make room for, and you got to feel, this is a feel type job. If you feel it jamming up a little bit, just go back and forth a little bit and it should self-heal. There we go. I'll bring you guys back in when I get to the bottom. Distance between my adapter and the snap ring is getting skinnier and skinnier. Reverse. No cutting oil. I got about 1/4 inch to go. And it's still cutting. I can feel it. The scraping traveling up through the extension, I can feel the vibrations. When you back off, you'll hit a jam because all the teeth are clearing out and all that debris is rolling into the vertical chamfers of the tap and getting stored there, hopefully. Perhaps maybe I should have put, well, it's day late, dollar short. I should have loaded those chamfers up with bearing grease. That would have caught every damn bit of my debris. Somebody out there says, yep, that's what my grandpa taught me. Getting very close. I really think I'm through now, because there's no friction, or there's no, I don't feel any cutting going on. So that means when I hit my C-clip, it should stop. All right. Let me back this out. All right. See all the debris in those little channels. This little excerpt here is for the owner. I didn't like how that last end felt when the C-clip bumped against everything. Like, I should have been able to tighten that tap down and it should have stopped where the C-clip was, but it felt like it wanted to keep going. And I kind of maybe wasn't all the way down yet. So I don't know. But the threads look like they're good. I'm going to try to get you guys down in here and see without screwing up the video. Yeah, I'm sitting here filming. Dang it. Hope I didn't miss something. I don't know if you guys can see that down in there. Looks like threads did get cut nicely. All right, let's get you back in the tripod. Okay, next task is to rig up a shop vac to suck out what I can down in there. All right, so I got this little hose here adapted to the shop vac with tape. It's sealed up pretty good. If I can fish that down in there, then I will be able to vacuum as much as I can out. And that's all I can do. Just so you all know, that aluminum, if there's any debris left over, yeah, it's going to go out the valves. However, it is metal. And if carbon will affect the sealing of a valve seat, meaning it will affect your compression if you have chiseled up, burnt up valve seats. Carbon is like super duper, like the very basic ingredient and very hard, but aluminum being softer, you would think this engine would eat that aluminum for lunch, but if it gets stuck between your valve seats and everything, A man could take his valve cover off. Make sure that cylinder is on top dead center. Remove the keepers. Remove the spark plug. Add air pressure. Remove the keepers and the springs, and maybe just lightly with your drill spin those valves and slam them up toward the head to kind of grind away any material to sort of port match a little bit in a redneck way to try to clean them up. There's no way to get any grinding compound on them or anything, but still. Let's turn this shot back on. Let me do some sucky. I don't know a way to create any more turbulence down in there. I mean, I imagine a brush on a wire, go down in there and stir it back up again and then keep re-shot backing, but I got no way to take any angles and turns with this thing. I mean, I had to have picked something up, but my thoughts are I'm not picking shit up. Let me see if I can take advantage of this curve, thinking that the debris would have fell downhill because the piston's at like a 45-degree angle. Let me come in like this. Since the tube is acting like it goes that way naturally. And try again. I can keep doing that. Curve this. Kind of give it a reason to go low. Cram more down in there, yeah. Get it to bend. Get the hose to bend. I'm going to get my borescope and hook it up and see what I can see. Alrighty, pull out my vacuum hose. Got my borescope camera here. Take a look down in there and see what we can see. I may set you all up on the workbench. See if you can watch this. Hang tight, let me get you set up. Alright, let's poke around and take a look. See if we can get some better imaging. Crosshatch on the cylinder wall looks very nice. It's too bad we had to do this work. Boy, this is hard to twist around. Trying to see what that is. Is it a reflection or what? It's hard to steer this thing remotely. What the fuck is that on top of that piston? Spin around the other way. Okay, so number one, I'm not seeing a lot of debris. I don't know what the hell that thing is. What is that? Houston, I think we got a problem. There's something stuck in this cylinder. What is that? It's like... What the hell is that? Jeez. Is that the threads from... It's a good damn thing I did this shit. What the hell? How the hell do I get that out? What's it going to do? Sit there and bang away at everything? Gosh. That's the threads from... Because I drilled. But those are the threads from when it just blew out. I'm going to have to go get tech support on this one. Show this to Miss Britz. Is that some sort of factory shit where they press the threads in? Oh, for fuck's sakes. Are you freaking joking me? Why does everything gotta be difficult for RJ? I can't get a straight on view of it. That's exactly what the hell it is. It's the old threads. Come on. I'm trying, guys. Not a lot of debris on my end as far as the work I've done. We're sitting there looking at the literal threads. Or somebody put a helicoil in here and RJ didn't know it and it blew out. Maybe perhaps the install didn't take. Motor's telling me it's got... Oh, Decent cross hatching still in it. All right, hang tight, everybody. I'm just going to have to go show Miss Brett's. Hang on. Hey, guys, I had to get tech support. All right. So let's see. I got to crawl back up on the nose of the truck and take a look around. I've been trying to. That's what we're doing is looking down inside the. That's the top of the piston.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
And I was looking for my metal. My aluminum shavings, and there is some as I was poking around, but this is the first time I've been able to get a good line on. What's that look like? It looks like the old threads in the head. I think that's what it is. I think it's threads.
It is threads, but I mean, I'd wonder if it was.
It could have been rigged up too, just temporarily. I'll know if it's.
Look how squared off the ends are.
You don't reckon somebody did a homemade helical, do you? It does look snipped off. It could have been sheared by a valve too. Because look at that.
Are there any other parts in there that look?
I don't see any more parts. I was poking around, looking around everywhere.
What about at
the
top of the lip in the? You wouldn't be able to see it. You've already drilled through it or past.
Yeah, I've already tapped and all that. I'm going to see if I can get a magnet in here. As far as my debris, I don't have miles and miles and piles of dirt and debris.
Which is kind of odd too, considering that video we watched.
Yeah. There's stuff in here.
If it was previously repaired, could they have used the wrong size?
Could have.
Which would have given more of an ability to lose that spark plug if it was too big and the threads weren't.
I mean, I could keep poking around, and the cylinder looks, I would say, fuck it, and roll with it, and just let it be what it is. But what we got there is
definitely something needs to come out.
Yeah. Definitely needs to come out. And I gotta figure out a way to get a magnet in there and see if it'll magnetically extract.
Yeah.
Without a borescope, you wouldn't be able to know this information.
No.
Say that again.
Okay, so what if this is you are actually doing a second repair, and the previous repair, someone had bored it out and put in an insert that was just slightly too large in diameter for the spark plug threads to fit snugly in.
Right.
And then the pressure popped that, added enough force to pop that spark plug out again. So now you are having to rebore and put in the right sized insert to accommodate that spark plug. Is that a possibility?
With not knowing how they did the first repair.
Or even if there was a first repair, but I mean.
But you're talking about that clip you see on here earlier, what you mentioned about the clipped off straight edge.
Mm-hmm.
it could have got bounced around and got severed by the valve.
Well,
And it's laying down in there. If it's not magnetic, it's not coming out. But if it's not magnetic, then it's not necessarily harmful. But it should have burnt off by now.
awfully big piece. Well, it wouldn't have been down there until now.
Now, what I don't know about the late 4.6 liters is, are the OEM spark plug are these fasteners they add from the factory? This thing looks like it's part of a shoulder almost. Like it looks like it could be the edge of a shoulder, like on these new fittings, like the shoulder sheared off.
I don't know. I'm not seeing the. I'm just seeing the threads. It'd be nice to be able to get a different angle on it.
I can't.
It's threaded on both sides, but
I can't. I'd have to slam my scope in there.
If you get it out, that would be interesting to see if it's.
I got a little bit of an angle here.
If it's.
I shoved it down deeper and got a little bit of an angle. You're not going to see no difference. There's threads in that.
There's threads on the outside, definitely.
So if there are threads on the out,
threads on the inside.
So what? So if it's a part of the head, then there ought to be threads on the inside, and it should be smooth and raggedy on the outside. So in other words, this is probably a helicoil that failed.
Now the other question is it an original to the original engine situation?
That's what I'm trying to say. Are they helicoils from the factory?
Yeah.
And they just fuck off and fly out?
Or is it a repair? And that will change things too, because if it's a second repair, then you would think that there might be an underlying problem elsewhere.
Because, I mean, look at this cylinder here. It's still got crosshatch marks. You see that crosshatch?
Mm-hmm.
It's all crosshatched, which is signs of proper oil viscosity and proper wear and tear and cooling of each cylinder. As it cycles up and down, it properly lubricates.
Now, if it was a helicoil that was put in as a repair when it was originally bored out, it might have been bored out.
What if the factory did it a long time ago?
Eggy.
I mean, what if a dealership did it and it just failed again, you know?
Yeah.
Because this stuff isn't permanent.
No.
I think that any helicoil can't be considered permanent in a engine scenario because they heat and cool too often.
Yeah.
And no matter what you do, that damn thing's going to have to be addressed one way or another. And I'm looking at what needs addressed.
Well, and that would explain why you don't have as many metal shavings down in there as you thought you would too, because if it was already overbored once or bored out sort of egg-shaped for whatever reason.
Ooh, I was drilling through a helicoil.
You might have been.
I was drilling through a helicoil and I punched through and sent it. So this little piece of...
That would be my guess.
This little shard here has not seen activity yet, because if it had seen activity, those cylinder walls would be showing me some signs this guy's been busy. So now I've got to figure out...
There's only a couple of scratches right on the top of the piston.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I can't 100% say that they're scratches, but probably it's just in the, like, any carbon buildup. There's a couple of little scratches that look like it fell and bounced.
All right, so YouTube, what she was saying earlier about a video we watched, I was getting a little bit of self-paced education on how to do this or go about anything I need to know, and a fellow was shooting his drill bit through and making a decent pile of aluminum. But what I think I have here is not a decent pile of aluminum, or my shop vac miraculously shop vacked everything up almost perfect. and we're left with that.
But do you see here?
Oh yeah, 2 little teeny scratches where it moved around because that was me.
Yeah.
Me moving it around with my rubber hose. See this
so
orange?
That wasn't
See,
there.
see this, sweetie?
Yeah.
I've got it adapted to the shop vac.
But I mean, that's a pretty good sign that was not down there until you bored out.
Yeah, those little scratch marks in the soot on the top of the piston, the oiliness. I don't know where that's at, but I'm going to have to go fish.
You are.
I'm going to have to see if it magnetically comes out. I may have to leave the borescope in there and fish with a wire and see if I can hook it.
Piston's relatively clean. I mean, there's not a whole ton of carbon.
No, it's not too bad. And I don't know where I am as far as a clock, as far as my 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Just interested if there's another piece to it laying around.
It could have got sucked up.
It could have, because it would have been smaller. I don't think it looks like that shoulder, though. It doesn't remind me of that shoulder. It reminds me of Enfield.
I don't know what is going on at our 3 o'clock right now.
I don't either. It looks like it got hot.
Looks like a crash. Piston to valve. A slight crash right there. No, it's just Durbus.
Go. See if we can.
This thing's hard to steer,
Yeah,
sweetie.
I know. I just saw it matched up. Here. No.
I've poked around.
Okay.
I've looked around everywhere and I'm not seeing any. I think I drilled a helicoil out. Fuck!
Well, I mean, at least now you know, right?
Well,
although I would be wondering why it had the helicoil in the first place. I mean, just
is it factory?
It's factory. That's really lazy of them. I mean, that's exceptionally lazy.
I don't know. I mean,
either that or they had something.
It's value engineering. Oh, I had the spot.
You would think that it would be easier to tap than to insert a helicoil.
All right, YouTube. Well, that's tech support for you. See, my wife is all that in a bag of chips.
Oh.
All right, guys. So I've got a thin piece of aluminum wire with a neodymium magnet. And I'm going to add heat shrink on the end. And I'm going to try to see if I can go in the cylinder and see if that little object attaches to my magnet. That's a neodymium magnet. And then I'll have to pull the borescope out and see if I can get that helicoil out. Let me get this rigged up. Alright, so I've got this dressed a little bit better. Let me go put a piece of heat shrink over it. Okay, so that's what I've got. Pretty long wire. Let's see if it gets magnetized. I gotta go in next door to the borescope. Goodness gracious. Let's see. where it is. Over here watching the camera. Waiting to see if I pop in frame. There it is. It's magnetic. Okay. So now the method of procedure is pull out the borescope and see if this comes with it. Let's cross our fingers. Nope. Looky what I got. I got the thing. Hell yes. Awesome possum. I'll bet you anything that's a helicoil. Hang tight, I gotta show tech support. By the way, this is threaded on the exterior and the interior. What does that tell you, car mechanics out there? I'll bet you it was a helicoil. Previous repair job from unknown who. Alrighty guys, that was eventful. So I got my little mixing container here. I'm going to be doing some JB Weld 2-part. If you got a leaky oil pan, little pinholes in it, this stuff is perfect. Says it's good to 550 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to mix up a little bit of this. I have my torque wrench set to 12 foot-pounds. I'll be tightening the spark plug and the fitting as a group down inside the head. Let me get my step that's not critical done now, which is getting a liberal amount of anti-seize on the spark plug. I don't need that much. Goodness. And also on the shoulder. What we want is for the owner to be able to take out the spark plug and not extract the insert. I'm depending on the JB Weld high temp stuff to hold the insert in place with the foot-pound of torque that I'm putting on it. Setting it like that hoping that the lubrication of this anti-seize will allow the spark plug to break loose at less than that. So I'll screw that in. Got that prepped and ready. Now I will get my JB Weld mixed up. There it is. Squirt out 2 equal parts of this. That looks sufficient. That worked out nice. Okie dokie. Need my rag. Don't ever let these 2 parts touch each other or you'll never get the cap off. Clean the end really nicely. Put the cap back on. There we go. Ready to be hung back up. My clock is ticking on my JB Weld. But I haven't mixed it yet. I better get you guys situated up there where you need to be. So hang tight. The owner left 3 what appears to be new coil packs in the truck and a couple of 3 spark plugs. So I'm going to be toning these out to see if they all measure the same resistance or determine which one needs to go in the truck. I don't know. I just got stuff laying in the truck, so it's my job to figure it out. Hang tight while I move you guys. Alrighty guys, got my JB Weld on. Up around the shoulder real good. And I gotta get my borescope out of there. Hello. Got company. And I gotta put this down in the hole. And see if it'll take. Hello, Mr. Customer.
How are you doing, sir?
All right.
How's this project?
I don't know yet. I want you to go over and look at that Ziploc baggie hanging right by the fireplace. There's a wire hanging off the Ziploc baggie. Lift that off. That was what fell into your cylinder. I hope this is screwing in. It should be. Sure is. Okay. Okay, guys. Now, remember our earlier plan we talked about? OEM specification was 7 to 14 foot-pounds. I've got my torque wrench set at last calibration date was 2013. I've got this set to 12 foot-pounds. So let's see what we can come up with. We didn't use the red Loctite. We used that high temp JB Weld because of what we found. And I think we're dealing with a second repair here. So now here I'm coming up on tightening. So I have JB Weld on the insert, and I have excessive amounts of anti-seize on the spark plug. So that when everything sets up, the spark plug should break free first. We're waiting to hear our click. We are there. I don't like how loose that feels, but hey. Now, I have to rip this out. Oh no. My tape is fighting me. I had to tape the spark plug on. No. Oh. I had to tape the... Please come out this time. Nope. Oh my God. I need my ratchet, RJ. Set that down. Alright, race fans, I gotta take it back out again. Okay, temporary difficulties solved. Let me get the torque wrench. And it's already preset. Preset to 12 foot-pounds. 14 was max. Good. That's going to have to be good enough, guys. Can I have my tools back? Alright, I got my tools back this time, and we have a spark plug installed. After all that damn drama. Hang tight. I'm going to figure out which coil pack it is, because the customer gave me 3. Okay, we're back at it. Time to put a coil pack in. But apparently I gotta take this screw out, because the mounting ear off the old coil pack is right here. Yeah, it's stuck on the bolt. And there's the bolt. I may save that. There's a good bushing in there. All I gotta do is break that plastic off and I'll have a good brass shim. I'll save that. Where's the coil pack we're going to use? This one? Alright. There's the coil pack we're choosing with the angled deal. And I think I get it. Yep. So just spit up inside there. And it'll lubricate it. I didn't read this. Oh well. I was going to check them with my meter to see. Add a little spit there, and it'll slip, that rubber boot will slip over that spark plug easier. Now I'm waiting to hear it snap. RJ, I'm not hearing it snap. Why? It's got it. It has to have made contact because they're flush, right? Well, damn near. Oh well, that's all you can do. Try to push it down further if I want without breaking the connector. Yeah, it's got to be on there. All right. And sneak that down.
Let's see. Will you check that one? See if it's tight?
Yeah, there's a loose one.
I've seen a loose one somewhere.
It was right here because I called. That's why I called you yesterday. So that's tight. It stole my socket. But it's wobbling. Why? Is it cross-threaded? We should leave, we should not, let me double check that with a flashlight. A little flashlight, black, long, skinny flashlight right there, RJ. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, so the flange is not broken, but if the bolt this cross thread and we back it out, if it breaks, then we're fucked. I'll try. I bet you it's cross threaded or it's the wrong bolt. What do you reckon?
It's cross thread.
I'm afraid of snapping that bolt off. I just turned it a 1/16 of a turn. If it's snapped in, it should be fine. All right. I bet I'm zoomed in again. Of course. All right, so that's good and stable. Let's plug that fuel injector in. All right. And then let's plug this coil pack in. And I bet the coil pack was like this. Here's my keyway. Where's my tab? Tab's on the bottom. That's plugged in. Alrighty, guys. Everything else is reverse order, I believe. Let's see. Double checking myself. I've got all my hardware ready for me to reuse where I don't have nothing laying around. I gotta flip this backwards, flip it around the other way. Alright, I guess the next thing we'll do is a startup just to see what the hell happened. Hang tight. Well, looks like look at all that hand room you got now.
All kinds of hand room. I believe somebody might have bumped a deer with it.
I pulled it up to a tree and used to come along. Let's see if this darn thing starts. I hope I didn't forget nothing. Keys are on the dashboard. You know, it almost sounds like it's that mass airflow sensor might have been dirty too. It sounds like a regular truck with a little bit of an exhaust leak, that's all. Back it out and see what you can do. Watch your mirrors, okay? That ain't the way this truck was running when it pulled in here. Take it down the driveway and come back. I'll watch the little one. All right, we'll wait for him to come back. What did you say? What did you say?
What is Audrey doing?
He abandoned you. Now you're my kid. And that little one behind you, that one's mine too. You stay in here, buddy. I'm going to work you in that garden. You're going to be on a tiller and a hoe and weeding.
No, I'm doing my thing.
I'm going to call you Grunt.
I'm doing my thing.
What's your name? Grunt. I wonder. There it is, West Virginia truck. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Good? All right. Happy customer? Alrighty, guys. That's the end of this damn thing. Holy crap, it's going to be a long ass video. We'll see ya. Bye.